life of Remus Lupin. Remus John Lupin was born March 10th, 1960. Remus was born to Lyle Lupin and Hope Howell. Lyle Lupin was a wizard and Hope Howell was a muggle. Lyle was an authority on non-human spiritus apparitions. One day in the forest, Lyle was with his wife Hope, and she had a sense that something was watching her. A boggart assumed the position of a man, bearing down on her. Hope screamed, and Lyle made the boggart take the form of a mushroom when he moved his wand. Lyle walked Hope home, and the two fell in love. After getting married, they had Remus Lupin. Remus showed signs of magic at a young age. Lyle eventually joined the Department of Regulation and Control of Magical Creatures. Lyle encountered Fenrir Greyback, who was brought into questioning about the death of two Muggle children. During this time, werewolves traveled in packs, and many were not registered in the ministry. Werewolves were shunned by witches and wizards at this time. Greyback claimed to be a Muggle, and his clothing and lack of wand wound up persuading overworked members of the committee. Lyle argued against Greyback's claim and recommended that he be detained until the next full moon. The committee did not side with Lyle, and Greyback was released. Lyle angrily described werewolves as soulless and deserving of death, and was ordered out by the committee. Before Greyback was released, the Ministry of Magic tried to put a memory charm on him, but Greyback had two accomplices attack the wizard performing the spell, and Greyback escaped. Before Remus's 5th birthday, Greyback climbed through Remus's window and bit him. Lyle, enraged, stopped the attack and fought off Greyback with powerful spells, but it didn't stop Remus from becoming a werewolf. Remus's father, Lyle, tried to find a cure, but unfortunately, Lyle never found one. Lyle and Hope, throughout his life, kept Remus away from people and tried to hide him. Lyle educated Remus at home. Before Remus's 11th birthday, Albus Dumbledore arrived at the Lupins' current home. Greyback had boasted about what he did to Remus, and Dumbledore found out about this through spies that he had around dark creatures at the time. Dumbledore made special arrangements for Remus to come to school at Hogwarts, and had an area where Lupin could undergo transformations, but staff and students would remain safe. Due to prejudice against werewolves, Dumbledore proposed they still keep Remus's curse a secret. Lupin would undergo his transformations at the Shrieking Shack on the outskirts of Hogsmeade to keep his curse a secret. Remus was sorted into Gryffindor and was best friends with James Potter and Sirius Black. Remus was caring towards Peter Pettigrew. Soon, all 4 boys were friends. The boys eventually found out Lupin's secret. The boys became Animagi and eventually took nicknames and became the Marauders. Remus, Moony, James, Prongs, Sirius, Padfoot, Peter, Wormtail. They eventually made the Marauders map that showed everyone on Hogwarts grounds. This would allow them to stay with Lupin while keeping a monitor on everyone else at the school. The Shrieking Shack was thought to be haunted because students would hear Lupin howling during transformations, but they thought it was spirits shrieking. Sirius told Snape about the tunnel to the Shrieking Shack. Sirius told Snape that he would find out the truth. Upon Snape's arrival, he was almost killed by Lupin in his werewolf form, but was saved by James. Snape was ordered by Dumbledore to keep Lupin's secret private. Lupin was made a prefect, and one of his biggest regrets was not stopping Lupin and James from bullying Snape. He was given the position by Dumbledore to monitor James and Sirius's actions. Remus was very close to Lily Evans at Hogwarts. Lupin joined the Order of the Phoenix after Hogwarts. Remus was traumatized when James and Lily were murdered by Voldemort. Soon following, Lupin found out that Sirius Black was sent to Azkaban due to the accusation of murdering Peter Pettigrew. Remus spent many years lonely and alone. During this time, his mother Hope also died. Soon following giving little positivity to Remus, Remus discovered the Wolfsbane potion. This was a complex and expensive potion, but allowed him to hold temporary jobs for the time being. Years later, Dumbledore offered Remus the Defense Against the Dark Arts position and promised him a limitless supply of this Wolfsbane potion as a courtesy of Severus Snape. Remus found out about Sirius escaping Azkaban soon following this. Lupin then saved Harry and the Hogwarts Express from Dementors. It is said Remus could produce a full wolf Patronus, but chose to keep it in a non-corporeal form on the Hogwarts Express so there would be no suspicion about his curse. Remus proved to be one of the best defense against the dark arts professors Hogwarts had ever had. Later on that year, Remus eventually discovered Harry and Ron were using the Marauders map he helped create. Remus also personally helped teach Harry the Patronus charm. Remus confiscated the Marauders map from Harry and discovered the truth. His friend Sirius Black was framed and Peter Pettigrew was still alive and on the Marauders map. Peter was in his animagus form as Scabbers, Ron's rat. Peter betrayed Lily and James during this time. Remus lost control and transformed into a werewolf, but eventually was stopped. Because of this event and the spread of his secret, Remus resigned from the Defense Against the Dark Arts position and returned the map to Harry. Remus became a key member of the Second Order of the Phoenix when Voldemort began to rise to power again. It was here Remus met Nymphadora Tonks, and he was secretly scared of his feelings for her. As a positive, Remus was happy he was reunited with Sirius in the Order of the Phoenix. During the battle of the Department of Mysteries, Lupin encountered tragedy again, watching Sirius Black, one of his best friends, killed by Bellatrix Lestrange. While in the Order, Lupin tried to convince werewolves to side with Albus Dumbledore. Despite Harry questioning Severus Snape's trust, Lupin always stuck up for Severus Snape. Quote, "Dumbledore trusts Snape, therefore I do." During the Battle of the Astronomy Tower, Dumbledore was killed by Severus Snape, leaving Remus to endure another tragedy. Tonks eventually admitted her feelings for Lupin, and later on, they became married. Eventually, Tonks became pregnant with a child as well. Tonks and Remus participated in the Battle of Seven Potters. During the battle, Snape casted a spell, cutting off George Weasley's ear. Despite the injury, Lupin was successfully able to get George to safety, despite the now feeling he couldn't trust Snape. Snape, a double agent, meant to cast a spell on a Death Eater, but instead hit George when he was trying to save Lupin's life, despite Lupin knowing. Remus and Tonks fought off Death Eaters so Harry, Ron, and Hermione could escape at Bill and Flora's wedding. Lupin appeared on Potter Watch radio broadcast under the code name Romulus and told Harry to follow his instincts and that he supported him, encouraging Harry, Ron, and Hermione as they searched for Horcruxes. Soon following, Tonks gave birth to Remus's son. Remus's son showed no signs of being a werewolf to Lupin's delight. Remus and Tonks fought in the Battle of Hogwarts, but Remus was killed by Dolohov. Nymphadora Tonks was killed by Bellatrix Lestrange despite a valiant effort. Both of their lives ended in tragedy. Lupin and Tonks gave their life for their son and the people of the Wizarding World. Lupin was joined by James, Sirius, and Lily and appeared as Harry was revealing himself to Voldemort to make the ultimate sacrifice. Harry survived with the Resurrection Stone and went on to raise Lupin and Tonks' son. Remus was awarded Order of Merlin First Class and was the first werewolf to get this honor. His life helped ease the tension between werewolves and the Wizarding World. If you would like to know more about Harry Potter and the Wizarding World lore, subscribe to Chase and Josh Factor Fantasy Podcast. The link is in the bio, or you can subscribe to Ridiculous Patronus on YouTube. Thank you, everyone. Have a magical week.